Are you still checking their social media, even when you know it's just going to hurt? Replaying every single conversation in your head, wondering what you could have done differently? Do you feel like you're just stuck in this painful, obsessive loop about your ex and you can't seem to break free? If you're nodding along, just take a deep breath. You're not going crazy, and you are definitely not alone. What you're feeling is a real and incredibly painful part of a breakup. Your brain is basically going through withdrawal. The bonding hormones that once made you feel so safe and connected are now crashing, which puts your brain into a state of high alert survival mode. This is what creates that cycle of obsessive thoughts that feels impossible to escape. You're not just missing them, you're fighting your own brain chemistry. But here's the good news. You don't have to stay stuck there. In this video, I'm going to give you a clear, day-by-day, 21-day plan that will help quiet that noise in your head, stop the obsessive thinking, and finally let you start to heal. This isn't some magic trick. It's a structured, psychological strategy to help you get your energy and your life back. Think of it as a detox, not from the person, but from the cycle of emotional pain itself. The first 7 days are, without a doubt, the hardest, but they're also the most important. This week isn't about suddenly feeling great. It's about building a fortress around your healing heart. The whole point of week 1 is detox and stabilization. Your only job is to stop the cycle of contact and get your nervous system back on solid ground. We'll kick things off with day 1, reset and boundary setup. This is the day you draw a hard line in the sand. Your first task is to say this out loud. For the next 21 days, I will not contact my ex or check their social media. This time is for me. Saying it aloud makes it real. Next, it's time for a digital cleanse. Go into your phone and delete or archive your text threads. Mute or temporarily block them on every social media platform. You're getting rid of the triggers, the easy access buttons that feed the obsession. This isn't about being mean. It's about being kind to your future self. That evening, I want you to do a quick 5-minute goodbye letter. Grab a piece of paper and write an unsent letter, pouring out all of that immediate pain, anger, and sadness. Just get it all out of your head and onto the page. Another huge task for this week comes on day 5, building your emotional release toolkit. The urges to reach out to them will hit you in waves, and you have to be ready. When a really intense emotion hits, whether it's rage, despair, or that crushing sadness, you can't just push it down. Instead, you're going to give it a controlled outlet. Set a timer for 5 minutes. For those 5 minutes, you are allowed to feel it completely. Scream into a pillow, cry as hard as you can, put on some music, and have a frantic dance party in your living room. The goal is to let that emotional energy move through you instead of getting trapped inside. Once the timer goes off, you take a deep breath and move on to something else. You've honored the feeling without letting it hijack your whole day. The rest of week 1 is all about the basics. Getting your sleep schedule back on track, making sure you're eating healthy meals, and getting at least 15 minutes of light movement, like a walk, every single day. These things might seem small, but they are incredibly stabilizing for a nervous system that's in shock. Every day you complete without contact is a win. Mark it on a calendar. Watching those X's add up builds pride and proves to your brain that you really can survive this. You survived the initial storm. Now that the worst of the withdrawal is over, week 2 is about starting to turn inward. This week's theme is reflection and rewiring. This is where we begin to gently learn from the past without getting stuck there, and we start building new mental habits. A key exercise this week happens on day 9, and it's called the relationship inventory. An obsessing mind loves to conveniently forget the bad parts and only replay the good times, creating this fantasy version of the relationship that's impossible to move on from. Today, we're going to challenge that. Take out a journal and draw a line down the middle of a page. On one side, write down 3 specific things you genuinely miss about the relationship. Be honest. On the other side, write down 3 specific things you do not miss. 3 things that didn't feel good, that stressed you out, or that made you feel small. Seeing both columns side by side gives you a much-needed dose of reality. It doesn't erase the good memories, but it brings back the difficult ones, helping you see the relationship for what it truly was, not just the highlight reel your grieving brain has created. Then, on day 14, we're going to do something really powerful. Rewrite the breakup story. When we're in pain, we tend to tell ourselves a story where we're the victim and our ex has all the power. Today, you're taking that power back. Write the story of your breakup in the third person, like you're a narrator describing a character in a novel. So, instead of, "He left me and I'm heartbroken," you might write, "After the relationship ended, she found herself with an unexpected period of solitude. This was her chance to rediscover what she wanted for her own life." This simple shift helps you detach your identity from the pain and starts to build a new story, one about resilience and growth. Throughout this week, you'll also start reconnecting with your own values. What matters to you outside of a relationship? Is it curiosity, creativity, community? Pick one and do one small thing that aligns with it. Maybe that's visiting a museum, trying a new recipe, or calling a friend you haven't talked to in a while. You are slowly and intentionally replacing the old relationship habits with new habits that are all about you. I know that going through this day by day is tough, and having a detailed roadmap can make all the difference. The daily tasks I'm sharing here are just a small part of the full plan. To give you the complete structure you need, I've put together a downloadable 21-day no-contact recovery kit. It has a printable checklist for every single day, the specific journal prompts for each evening's reflection, some ready-to-use urge scripts you can text yourself when you feel weak, and even templates for how to respond if a mutual friend asks about the breakup. This guide has everything you need to follow this plan step by step. Welcome to the final week. You've detoxed your system and started to rewire your thinking. Week 3 is all about looking forward. The theme is rebuilding and redirecting. We're taking all the progress you've made and turning it into lasting change by shifting your focus from the past to your future. A critical task this week is on day 17, creating your relapse prevention plan. By now, the urges to contact your ex have probably faded a lot, but they can still sneak up on you. A relapse plan is your emergency fire escape. On a note card or in your phone's notes, write down 3 simple steps to take the second you feel that urge to break no contact. It could be something like: 1. Wait 24 hours before I do anything. 2. Call my designated support friend. 3. Read my relationship inventory from my journal. Having this plan ready to go short-circuits that feeling of panic and gives your logical brain a chance to catch up with your emotional brain. You're not just hoping you'll be strong, you're planning for it. And that brings us to day 21, consolidation and next steps. Today is for reflection and making a decision. Take out your journal and look back at the last 3 weeks. Write down what you've gained. Acknowledge what still hurts. Then, ask yourself one crucial question. Do I want to extend the no-contact period? The goal of this 21-day plan isn't just to survive a countdown. It's to get you to a place where staying silent comes from a place of strength and self-respect, not fear. Remember, you're not just waiting for them to come back. You're waiting for you to come back. For many people, extending the no-contact period feels like the natural next step because the peace they've found is so much more valuable than any text from their ex. Finally, you need to mark this 21-day milestone with a celebration. It doesn't have to be anything huge. It could be buying yourself that book you've wanted, taking a day trip somewhere new, or just treating yourself to a meal at your favorite restaurant. This act makes the accomplishment real. You have successfully navigated one of the hardest emotional challenges there is, and that deserves to be celebrated. You did it. 21 days ago, you were probably drowning in obsessive thoughts, feeling completely powerless. But look at what you've accomplished. You have starved that obsession of its fuel. You have regulated your nervous system. You've taken a realistic look at your past, and most importantly, you've started building a future that is centered on your own happiness. The point of this whole journey was never just about forgetting your ex. It was about remembering yourself. It was about proving that your peace, your stability, and your joy are not dependent on someone else's presence in your life. You are the main character of your story. This breakup is just one chapter. It is not the whole book. A quick but really important note. If you were in a relationship that involved any kind of abuse or stalking, no contact is a matter of safety and may require legal help and support from professional resources. And if you're experiencing severe symptoms of depression or anxiety, please reach out to a mental health professional. Seeking help is always an act of strength. If this plan resonated with you and you're ready to take back control of your life, subscribe for more guidance on your healing journey. And please, share your day 1 in the comments below. Let's build a community of support for everyone starting this challenge today. You are not on this path alone. You have everything you need inside of you to heal.